We're going live, baby. I told you last week we were gonna work on our intro.
Okay.
So we just gonna leave it as that.
We're going live.
And I just expect you to know who I am at this
you
point.
You already know who it is. Yeah.
You already know.
Man, I ain't got no blue magic or nothing.
I haven't used Blue Magic in years. Is that stuff good for you?
I don't.
Because I felt like it was, but like just because my scalp is greasy, I don't think that necessarily means it's healthy.
I don't know if blue grease should be going in your head, but you know.
Oh, okay.
I tried pink, and
Antifreeze? That was for Jen.
No, you can't talk about. Don't talk about Fight Club.
Bruno? Is it Bruno?
You about to be Bruno?
I'm about to be Bruno. Oh, well, I guess I'm Bruno.
So. What's on the list today? Sustainability.
Sustainability. What does sustainability look like?
So, your sustainability in your training and your eating and your sleeping and your stress management,
all the things,
right, is literally that. And I think it's important to realize that it's not this. It's really this. It shouldn't be this. That's, I don't know, you got something else going on. But it's not completely level. It's an average of level. And you can still progress in a sustainable manner. So, sustainability is the ability to maintain a level of performance, intention, attention towards your goal that also affords you the ability to slow down and accelerate within certain parameters. And I think it's real easy to take that too far. I think one of the big ways, one of the number one ways that we do it, well, two ways, right? There's a bunch of ways. Fitness specifically is we crash diet and we do way too much activity as a way to offset calorie balance.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying. I think it's ideally living in extremes. So it's like instead of measuring or managing, I was super dark. I know you didn't want to say it, but that's just.
I was trying to.
It's okay, bro.
I mean,
it's all right.
It looked like you had a bodysuit
on. Oh, not a bodysuit. But instead of measuring or tracking, it's like I'm gonna do all of the things and see which one works.
And none of them well.
And none of them well. So, I this is my opinion. I personally don't like group classes that have like over 50 people. You ever seen those big old group classes where they just do things?
For like major events? Like I've been to like a Zumbathon.
No, but I mean like weekly.
I don't think it's a problem with the class. I think it's a problem with how the class is sold.
I agree. But I guess what I typically, the reason why I said that, because what I see is, generally speaking, the individual doesn't go for any kind of learning experience for themselves. It's more so I'm going to this group accountability that gets me motivated, gets me moving. But like if I go, hey, how did you progress from last week to this week with going to that class? They don't have you get what I'm saying?
So but I think we've also seen some really poor structures.
That's true. That is
for
also
the
true.
Individual to participate in. So I think that's a balance between both the consumer and the producer.
Okay.
But fair. Yes, I totally get what you're saying.
So that's I guess that was my perspective. So I think that a lot of times people will I'm just going to do all of this thing to get me closer to my goal, and then they usually sacrifice something else. I'm not saying some sacrifices aren't met, but you should be able to hold on to some kind of consistency or maintenance instead of that's like saying, you know what, I want to see faster weight loss results, I'm gonna run twice a day, as many miles I can manage, and then eat
Right.
a bunch of food. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you're doing too much, whereas in you can't be optimal or efficient either. Not to say that you're not doing work, but it's not effective anymore. It's just like,
I think to a degree, right? You will be, but your return on investment is so
okay, that's
it's so
yeah,
small.
because
It's
you'll
not
probably
worth it.
get to where you want, but then
Maybe.
the bounce back might be crazy.
So you'll either burn out before you get there when
Yeah.
you take it too extreme, and this is activity or nutrition or relationships that, like, so we're talking like stress level. When you're over managing something or overdoing something
Yeah,
without the appropriate management, yeah, you're gonna run into a wall somewhere, and you might see a payoff. You might, but I guarantee you're gonna run into a wall at some point. I think so. Like with my thing is nutrition, so it's always being all ends of the spectrum. So being uh, overly fat, overly lean, and then everywhere in between. A lot of what I've been told, what I've studied, who I've studied with, the environments I've worked in, the idea of the 1200 calorie diet, right? So most programs use it because it's effective. If anybody takes in 1200 calories, you're gonna lose mass. Like mass in general, not just fat. You're gonna lose muscle mass. You may lose some bone density. But I think the application for it was meant to be very clinical. Like
yeah,
you would see this under direct medical supervision,
correct.
as low as like 500 calorie diets, where they're being very conscious of the nutrient that's being given at that level. And we try to replicate it as like a regular consumerism thing in fitness.
Yeah,
And it's just that's not it.
Right.
I mean, now again, it'll work.
Yeah.
But you run the risk of greater nutrient deficiencies when you hit around 1200. And for some people, it's even higher. It's like 15. It's hard to get enough total nutrient. We're talking micronutrients, the things that make everything happen, in most populations that are already deficient to some degree in many of the nutrients anyway.
right.
So like if you're in the Northeast, chances are you're deficient in vitamin D, calcium, in general, B12. Like you already run a risk, and then you enhance the risk by digging the hole deeper,
Right.
by overshooting what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And that's just like, what do you see with training?
I was about to say the biggest training takeaway. Like, so what ends up happening is for some people, if say strength specific, the volume is too much for them to recover from working at a certain intensity.
And you do need,
You-
depending on your goal, you need a certain amount of
You
volume.
need a certain amount of volume. So what ends up happening though, and it could be the volume could be specific to the movement. So like if you want a better bench press and it's a flat bench, then sometimes volume at an incline bench could potentially, even though you've put it into a program as an assistance exercise, that could potentially hurt your chances of hitting a flat bench. You know what I'm saying? So depending on how you structure your workouts, or like some people spend way too much time on accessory work, where you're now then spending so much time recovering that when you perform the actual activity that you're trying to improve upon, you run the risk of not being able to lift the intended weight for your program or your training. So sometimes, or like say for example, you're doing heavy deadlifts that maybe your low back is a little sore, but then next thing you know, you got to do squats a couple days later.
That feels kind of personal, bro.
Hey, listen, it was the best example I got, right? But then next thing you know, by the time you get to your squats during the week, your low back is so fatigued that in hindsight, you can look back and say, okay, maybe I was doing too great of intensity for both upper and lower. I need to be a little bit more specific on whether I want to enhance my deadlift or enhance my squat. So it's like it was a great intention to try, you know what I mean? But now we got to get a little bit more specific with what movement or exercise selection we choose to hone in on, and then use everything else as accessory work to build up that movement.
And become better at managing
Yeah,
those resources.
but the beginning or the novice or even intermediate experience will tell you, I want to do all the things at the same time to be able to grow. And it's like,
There's a CrossFit joke in there somewhere.
I can't see it, but I already want to laugh because I know it's funny.
So,
If that,
so
I would have laughed beforehand.
you can be good at all the things, right? But you need to focus on one first.
Yeah,
And then start developing. You can do a little bit here and there, but at some point, the level of performance is going to require, and this is diets,
yeah,
all relationships. We're speaking specifically to your nutrition and training. The attention at the level of performance becomes greater, and you need to become a better manager at that level, right?
right.
So, yeah, keeping total volume.
So I think, especially when we talk about, when I hear sustainability, I mean like consistency. What can kind of keep you going? Because
Can you keep doing
or
it?
can you at that rate? But understanding too, though, if it's a plan to reduce the activity or reduce the intention or reduce the earlier he mentioned it comes in waves, peaks and valleys. If you know that going in, and then you can plan for that, you can be a little bit more effective. So it's the same way I say, like, if you're doing a program and your goal is to build muscle, I'd give it 12 weeks, 16 weeks, and then at that point, I would try to maybe take a break from that, focus on either leaning out or focusing on maybe new movement patterns or focusing on some kind of different stress so that you're not burning yourself out with the intention here. It's like in season versus off season.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I think if we're talking about sports specifically, the intensity of a football player changes off season to in season. You could train, if you're looking to get big, you're not going to do it in season. You got too many games to worry about. You're worried about performance and winning. You're going to try to do that in the off season to bring it to your in season game. So I think it's the same thing what we have in life. Like, you can only focus on one thing to a certain level of intention at one period.
So like you can be good at a level here, right? So let's say lifting and cardio. You can or running. So like marathon running and powerlifting. You can be really good at running and really good at lifting, but the better you want to get at running, the further that has to move away.
Yeah,
right?
like you
And the
can't.
better you want to get at powerlifting, the further one has to.
Right.
It has to take priority.
Like, I tell you right now, your best top of the top elite power lifters aren't just going out doing marathons because they want to. Like,
Then if they're not doing marathons.
period. They're not even probably putting in cardio or like runs in their programming.
You should absolutely be running.
Right.
Or walking.
But vice versa. If you talk about your elite of the elite runners, they're not pulling 400 pounds off the floor.
Right.
They're just not. And simply because those two physiological adaptations and performances needs to be on opposite sides of the spectrum. Right? Because of the amount of muscle mass that a power lifter would need and force production wouldn't be advantageous to someone who's going to run 3, 5, 10, 20 miles. It's just not, and in, like, I don't say that to say you should try to prove me wrong, because I'm telling you, you're going to be the wrong one. Like, you can't do it. You have to.
You just gave me a goal because you said I can't
do it, bro. You know what?
No.
Prove me wrong.
No, I'm okay. I like the heavy stuff.
Right, like, it just scientific or biologically speaking, human beings in its most smallest form just
I don't
can't.
know.
You just can't do it, bro.
So, oh, you mean
I mean, like,
well, I think it speaks more to, do you know what it is that you're doing?
right.
So when you're pursuing a particular goal and it's not sustainable, the question is, do you understand what it is that you're doing and trying to accomplish, and how your current resources afford accessibility to whatever it is, right? So like, I guess with training, your first restriction is your time limit, right? So
I'd say, well, yeah, no, okay.
I only have this amount of time to be active.
Yeah,
like to dedicate
yeah.
specifically to improving my activity level.
Right.
Well, that's your first restriction. Now, within that time limit, what can you get done? What's a priority to get done?
Yeah.
And does it get done? And if it doesn't, and you're just doing other stuff to take the place of, or doing work for the sake of doing work, sure, it'll work to a degree until it starts to burn you out.
Right.
And you can absolutely call it whatever you want. What is it? Overtraining,
Overtraining, under recovering.
The same damn coin. It's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
The fact is, you're not prepared to do the work, and doing the work is detrimental to your continued progress. The same is true with dramatically changing your diet one way or another. So
Correct.
I want to put mass on, and you start eating 1,000 more calories every day until it makes you sick, and then you can't continue that. Or you go the opposite way, you get rid of 1,000 calories every day, and you start binge eating, right back to where you were.
Or you're so fatigued that you can't do the work anyways.
Yeah.
You'll get to where you want to go. You just ain't gonna be able to do nothing.
It's gonna hurt a lot more than it needs to.
Right. And I think the tough part about consistency or sustainability is that it doesn't look sexy. Like a lot of times it's the same thing, routine based, day in and day out. It's going to take a lot more out of your brain power than you probably will give yourself credit for.
I don't know who said it, but achieving sustainability in achieving a goal is going to feel monotonous to the person with a destination. And it's going to be enjoyable for the person who's just along for the ride.
Right.
So if you're saying, I need to be this weight, I need to lift this amount, I need to, that's the end goal for you. Everything that you do up to that point is going to suck. It's going to be horrible.
I'll tell you,
because all you can think about is that goal and what it is you're doing to achieve that.
And that's why I've always said, when I get clients who come in, I try to get them to shift their perspective and not necessarily focus on the actual goal, but rather the process. So what are the behavioral habits or concepts that we can focus on? So like, the win isn't necessarily to lose the 30 pounds, right? So we both know we want to lose the 30. Where you may get upset that you may never give yourself credit until you highlight that you hit the 30 pounds. That process is going to look extremely stressful for you. Whereas if I say, hey, let's focus on training 3 times a week. You train 3 times this week, that's a win for you.
You just got to get in.
That's a quick win. You train 3 times the next week, that's another win.
I just saw somebody posted.
So you're earning more wins as opposed to waiting until the 30 pounds gets lost to actually win. Focus on, if you set yourself a 2,000 calorie limit, let's focus on hitting that 5 times a week. That's a win every time you hit that. So I think that if you can focus on the behavior, and the habits that will get you to your goal, I think that makes the process less sucky, for lack of a better term. I mean, it's gonna be difficult or challenging regardless. I think that's also a thing, because I think so many people, not that they expect it to be easy, but they don't anticipate the easiness.
You may not expect
or the difficulty.
it to be easy, but you don't expect it to be as hard as it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think what it is that everyone's experience with it is different. And because everyone's experience with it is different, for someone who's starting off new, they don't know which person to listen to. Instead of just experiencing on their own to come up with their own interpretation of what it is.
Yeah, is yes.
Because-
So yeah, I could tell you this is what sustainability looks like in general, but it may be it's going to be very different from person
So no,
to
I think
person.
you did it, but I think you did it. I think you said it right off in the beginning. Sustainability looks like this.
Yeah.
And it's hard to hear. It's hard to hear that you're going to go into something knowing that it's going to be uncomfortable. It's hard to hear that. Who wants to do that?
I'm ready for it, and I'm going to make it as uncomfortable as possible to get to my goal as quickly as possible. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, you know what?
But
go do that, and then figure
and then
out why that may not have been a good idea.
Right. Like nobody wants to hear that it's going to suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear it. I get it. I've been there before. But
You know why though? Because you're doing well. It's such a slow process.
yeah. Yeah.
You're doing really well. It's not moving as fast as you'd like, but it's moving in the direction you want to go, right?
Right.
You're doing really well.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people don't get that.
Yeah.
They don't have the success that you have. No matter how small you perceive it as, it's moving you towards your goal. If you're still on the journey, that's pretty damn good. Here's what it is. In fitness, nobody tells you this is for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life, you're going to participate in some kind of physical activity. For the rest of your life, you're going to manage how you eat. For the rest of your life, you're going to create enjoyable, sustainable practices to keep you healthy and experiencing the highest quality of life as you continue experiencing life. And until you fully grasp that, like, oh shit, it's not just to get a six-pack. Oh, it's not just to look good for the summer. It's to be here for my kids,
Yeah.
to be here for my partner, to be here for me, and to be able to experience all that life has to offer when I don't have to work my 9 to 5 all day every day, the job I hate going to.
Right. No,
I'm
but
just saying.
that's all a part of it, man. Is when you find out that I think that's why we do what we do, right? Because I found out fitness is more than vanity. Fitness is more than just strength. Fitness is more than just mental health. Fitness can be so much for so many people to whatever degree. And because of that, I feel like that's why I got into it, because I can share those moments. Like fitness got me out of a bad situation with my own health and my own mental, you know what I'm saying? So like,
I'm about to take that in another direction. Fitness is sustainable. If it's not sustainable, that's not fitness. If it's not sustainable, it's not fitness. That's addiction.
ooh,
That's something else, but that is not fitness. Fitness is sustainable.
that's a word.
Your mental, your physical, your financial fitness.
Oh man.
Sustainable, manageable, progressive. Like, if you don't have quality with your fitness, that's not fitness. Yeah.
That took me aback. Yeah, that
What's up?
hey Tate. That caught me off guard. I didn't know that's where you're going with that.
That's real, man. So if you think about I'm just gonna do it for this amount of time. That's how a lot of bad situations start.
Yeah.
I'm only gonna do this right now, and then later on I'll fix it. What you gotta fix?
Right. Sometimes you don't come around to it. Sometimes you don't even have the opportunity to do it. That's a lot. I think what it looks like though, and what it should feel like, is you being in tune or having control. I think that's what it looks like. I think it looks like control.
It doesn't need to be 100% either.
Yeah.
But you need to know that what you're doing is
Because I think that's where
It's good for
I
you.
think that's where happiness comes from too. Like I think it comes from the ability to make a decision and following through. Like, because what is a life that you have zero say in? Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, I get you.
Like,
I get you. So when you're managing the expectations, when you're managing your expectations,
hmm
and you have control over the things in your direct environment, I see that.
right.
Feeling like you don't have control over it,
Feeling like you don't, like that's got to be a life
getting
that
yourself into
sucks.
situations where you definitely don't.
Right. So
Yeah.
so if we're looking at a healthy relationship with fitness, it looks like, yo, I'm gonna train 3 times a week, and then one week you miss a day, and yeah, you're bummed out about it,
Okay.
but it doesn't mean that you missed the next week because you have to start all over again because you didn't start off over. This isn't a fitness is an investment in self for the long run, and that's kind of what I look like. What it sounds and looks like to me too when we say sustainability. Like,
Yo, you know what? So I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change my my stance on. I don't remember which episode it was, but I said if I didn't have to participate in fitness and like training and
You
stuff,
wouldn't?
I wouldn't. I'm 180. It'd be 90, right? Because 180, I'll be right back.
yeah,
90
you'd
degrees.
be right where you started.
I'm gonna go the other way, right? I'm gonna say even if I didn't have to do this, there's so many other things that training myself, creating discipline
Mm,
through what we do in the gym has done so much more for me than change my physique. It's
Yeah.
changed my outlook and my approach to life, like
Yeah.
how I participate with others.
yeah.
It's completely changed that.
I agree. I think for me, it completely it humbled me because a lot of times as I was going to, I, I feel like I was really good at getting stronger. I feel like I was really good at getting faster or whatever it was, whatever I decided to hone in on and participate or give my attention, I felt like when I gave it more focus, I was getting better and I was good at being able to do a lot. And then, after not paying attention to the details and, getting injured, then it slowed me down and was able to say, like, yo, you can't do everything. Like, you can, but to only a degree. Like, you can't be
in performance all the time.
Yeah, and I think that was a form of naivete for me. Like,
Yeah, you you have to experience something that's unsustainable
to know
that was too far.
Yeah,
So even if you're not in the most sustainable programming right now, you're learning.
yeah, or you would hope so, and that's what I'm saying. So I think having to go through all that experience early on really gave me a holistic perspective of what fitness and health looks like. Not only for me, and then of course, like with us having a training background, not only me in general, but then general population, right? But I think the best bang for your life buck, I'm gonna say, is to do or experience things. Like, there's nothing wrong with trying a HIIT class and then trying a yoga class and then trying Pilates and then trying
Try some CrossFit.
Well, no, there's something wrong with it. I'm playing.
We don't hate CrossFit.
No.
We like movements in CrossFit.
Yeah, I think that's a whole nother story.
Jokes, guys. Jokes.
Yeah.
Ease up,
All-
ease up. We
all
have
in
CrossFit
all-
friends. We have,
Yeah, I wear shoes. I wear lifters. Hi-yo! Look at that mobility.
man, that hurt.
Can you get your leg behind your head?
No. Not sustainable for me.
Not sustainable.
So I know you're dying to hear, like, well, what does sustainability look like? Whatever it looks like for you.
Right, and I know that sucks to hear, but it's again, if you're in this for life, this is your obligation to find out then. Like, why not explore? Why not gain the experience to know that that's not what you really want? Because how do you know you don't like something, or how do you know something won't work better for you? It's easy to get or fall into the trap of that routine patterns, but sometimes it's okay to break away from it, because then you find maybe another one that's more efficient or effective, or one that makes more sense for you. Like I used to work on Sundays. I don't work on Sundays anymore. Like I might do like paperwork or something, but like
I work on Sundays because I had to.
right, that too.
I have to.
Right. But like now I have the ability to shift my schedule and manage my schedule, because I know I need that day, because I can burn my because sometimes if I was going 7 days a week taking clients every day, eventually what happened was I just kind of like, I was so involved in a routine where it was burning me out or stressing me out, and I didn't even realize it. I chalked it up to, this is the grind, this is the, you know what I'm saying, where it was like, then next thing you know, during the week, you know, my performance levels would diminish. And
okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like I need to actually put in a rest day so that so it doesn't bleed over into my other days and my ability to perform.
So I'm trying to figure out how to say that. You've reached your limit when the thing you're doing is no longer enjoyable.
Mm.
I'm not saying stop doing the thing. I'm saying you need to reassess your performance doing that thing. So when you're being so aggressive, and you're so on, I hate doing this. I don't know why I'm doing it. You lost your purpose. You need to back up. You need to step back and reevaluate what's going on.
Right. Because at some point, I'm not saying you gotta love everything that you do. But yeah, you should definitely be able to find some joy in something. When you hate all of it, then
you should find some joy in the majority of it.
Right. Like when you hate all of it, it's just,
I don't particularly like that. That's fine.
That's okay. One or two things. I hate that. Right. One or two things you might not just vibe with. But yeah, if you hate everything about it, then you might need to have some kind of readjustment.
Absolutely.
As to what it is, why it is, whatever.
Because that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
You can't live in something that I don't know. I've seen some of y'all train without music. So maybe you can. You just like
man, like I have all types of beats and songs playing in my head, from oldies to reggaeton to reggae to
if you ain't got something bumping,
country,
you
just black lights and white noise, static.
You revenge training at that point. You don't like anything about what you're doing. You're just doing
training to be Batman.
Oh man,
without the money.
Yeah. So you have to find what sustainability is for you.
Yeah.
And realize.
I tell you though, it starts from ownership. Whatever routine, whatever sustainability looks like for you, starts with ownership. This is my this is my life. I make my decisions.
I like that you said you're obligated.
You're obligated,
and you can absolutely forfeit that responsibility.
Yeah, you can opt out,
and then you reap what you sow.
Yeah, you can opt out. But that was also a decision. Yeah. That was also a choice.
You are more than capable of fulfilling all of your responsibilities to yourself. And you owe yourself that.
Period. Pooh.
Finding stability, sustainability is one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got. I think we nailed that in.
That's my TED Talk.
If you're having trouble finding sustainability with your training programs, let us know.
Yeah.
And we'll figure out how to get you on the right track.
Right.
And did that go out yet?
No. About to shoom right after this.
All right.
We'll post it right after. But yeah, we got a link that's going to be dropped to you so that you can sign up, because we at KT, I got bars. I'm about to become a rapper next.
I got. I'll put something on the board. Grip Fit for bigger lifts with Dan Glick. I'm not a rapper though. Nah, so we're super excited. We're changing up. Actually, we're bringing up our class lineup,
Yeah.
and we got some fun bits in there that we want to give y'all some exposure to. So we're gonna drop the details a little bit.
Yep.
Um,
So be on the lookout and then share it, because even though it may not be something you may be interested in, or it may not fit your schedule, you never know who you may help by doing so.
it may not fit your schedule right now
That too.
until we roll that out.
Yeah. But I think we have fun here. I think we know what we're doing.
I think so. I like to
I think so. I like to think I know what I'm doing. I like to think I get results and, help people create bodies that they can be proud of, and, all the in-betweens.
Mindsets you can be proud of.
Yeah. So we're always here to help. As always, if it don't move,
It don't work.
it don't work. And, like, share, all that good stuff. And then we'll be back at you with some more info that you're going to sign up for, because I'm just going to tell you at this point.
A little bit. A little bit.
All right. Deuces, enjoy your weekend.
There you go.